and the guy that knocked me out, plus myself, ended up in the Alfred Hospital for the rest of the day. So fortunately we batted first.
You copped a bit of a beamer, did you?
No, we were going for a catch.
Oh, okay.
Collided.
So the old Steve Orr sort of Gillespie scenario.
That's right.
Ooh, nasty stuff. Yeah, do you have any special anecdotes from your playing day or Killigrew type messages that you passed on, or anything that sort of sticks in your mind?
I suppose one of the funniest comments that were made is probably as you realise that I was a Methodist, and Darryl O'Brien was I think he was a Church of England, and it was reportedly said that Killigrew, after coming out of one of the selection meetings, said, "Well, I'm fine, I've got my two Catholic guys playing for me." Little did he know that we weren't.
Yeah, religion played a big part back those days, didn't they?
Yeah, it did a little bit.
Yeah.
More so in some clubs than others.
Essendon's and that, I hear. Yeah, okay. So to this day, you said you made a few mates in your playing days with Darryl O'Brien. Do you sort of keep in touch? Or?
Well, not really, not as much as probably should. Catch up with them from time to time at a past players function or whatever. But I live over this side of town, they live over the other side of town. If I meet somebody, recognise them and that sort of thing, I'll have a bit of a chat. But really, I suppose I'm closer to friends in cricket rather than football. Even when I go to Geelong, I know a lot of the Geelong guys and that sort of thing. And guys like Doug Wade and Darryl Stevens were both at my wedding when we were married.
Okay.
But no, we haven't really kept up a close contact with anybody in the footy, except for I'm a member of both past players associations, and just hear from them from time to time what's going on, and if I can go to a function, I go to a function.
Do you get to the game much these days?
Not really. No. Well, I mean, when Gary was playing, went to a lot of Essendon games, but nowadays, even local footy, when my kids played at North Ringwood, and haven't bothered really that much. I'm a member at North Ringwood, but if I go to 3 or 4 games, that's about the extent of it.
Was that Paul Vanderhouse too as well?
No, he was Ringwood.
He was Ringwood, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, he was Ringwood. No, North Ringwood was Salmon, Banfield, O'Donnell, a few others, Dean Bailey, and there's been a couple. Terry Carl was before Gary. Okay. Yeah, so Van der Haar and Neil Clark and Robin Close were Ringwood boys.
Ringwood boys. Bit of a rivalry there.
Yeah, but they were all in the Ringwood area in those days. Yeah. Ringwood was Essendon's own.
Leader. Okay.
So, yeah.
So you mentioned that you have a great family and you have a wife, and so just anything you want to share with you?
Well, going through it from the family, we were married in 1973. We had 5 children. Just going through the kids, Gary, of course, played league footy for Essendon, was lucky enough to play in a premiership in 1993 for them, captained the side, and played 243 games, won the best and fairest in their premiership year. So, quite a distinguished career, and certainly well credentialed and well liked by the Essendon family. When he finished his career, there was a little bit of controversy, which Gary has never said where, why, what or whatever, because he keeps everything close to his chest, was invited by Lee Matthews to go to Brisbane, and was with Brisbane for 6 years during their 3 premiership years as an assistant coach. Really enjoyed it up there. Then Sheedy got him to come back to Essendon, and he spent 6 years at Essendon, 3 with Sheedy and 3 with Matthew Knight. And then when James Hird was taking over, Gary was out of contract and didn't think that he'd be required, and got an opportunity to go back to Brisbane. So that's where he is now, back with Michael Voss.
Fantastic.
So he's got 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. The eldest one at the moment is a netballer of some distinction. She's played in the under-17 Queensland team last year, netball. So he's hoping that she moves forward in years to come.
I'm saying she'd have some aunts that might be able to help her out there.
Second child was Shelley. She played netball, of course, for Australia. 3 World Championship titles and a Commonwealth Games title. she's involved. She has been involved with coaching. She's coached a bit with Lara in the last couple of years in their netball club, and also coached Kerry Graeme, and is now involved on the board of Vixen's netball club, and she's I think what they call them, Hall of Fame member of Australian netball, and she's an OAM, so there's quite a bit to do there. And she got 2 kids, a girl and a boy. Wendy, who was a netballer with her as well, played in the Australian under-21 netball side, but just seemed to fall short of the senior team. But was a very good netballer within her own right. She's an occupational therapist with paediatrics, and she's been coaching netball. Coached Burundara, that's over in the Glen Iris area, that Ashburton area.
Gee, that's not a bad occupation to have with all the connections in the sporting industry.
Yeah. And just so happens to be married to a fellow called Damien Fleming.
Oh, okay.
Cricketer. Of some note.
And tour guide, I hear, and commentator.
Yeah. Then I had twin boys, Kevin and Cameron. Well, Kevin was born first. He played local footy and local cricket, and he played Springvale seconds. Didn't get a game in their first, but had a crack at it and played in local premiership with North Ringwood.
And that's when they were in the BFA, was it? Springwood?
No, North Ringwood in the local.
But Springvale?
No, then Kevin was the other.
Oh, okay.
He played with Springvale.
Okay.
He played under 19 with Essendon and seconds with Essendon.
Okay.
And got drafted by Hawthorn,
Okay.
but didn't get a game with Hawthorn. But at the same time, he played with Springvale and played in 3 premierships with Springvale, and was runner-up in the JJ list in one of the years that he played there.
Wow.
So yeah, just didn't quite make the grade in league footy. So
what position did he hold?
he made mainly centre and wing and half forward.
On baller type.
Yeah, on baller type. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the extent of the family. Bev played netball and softball for Geelong, and captained Geelong in both of those, so she was a pretty good sports person with her in her own right.
Good lineage. Yeah. Thank you. Who were the sort of players that you admired most during your days at North and in other teams as well?
Well, in other teams, pound for pound, and the best player I reckon has been Bobby Scoot. There's no doubt in my mind. Kick both feet, brilliant player. And of course his Brownlow medals speak for that. So just a little bit of...
just a bit unlucky in the sort of premiership stake, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
So, and then I suppose Ian Law was another one that I admired as a player for an opposing team. And I suppose you've got to admire a guy like Goggin, who was a brilliant player as well. Yeah.
So you had the up close and personal with Ian Law. So
yes, and with Skilton, played on Skilton as well. Yeah, so and then you had the hard back pocket players like your Ron Branton at Richmond, and trying to think of the guy that was at Carlton, John Bonetti at Carlton, real tough guys.
And you really knew when you were playing them?
Yeah, they really knew.
Bit close.
And then, of course, when you played against Hawthorn, you had to look out for Des Dixon all the time. So.
A few bit stepped on your toes there.
Yeah, certainly did.
Did back in those days, were celebrities part of a club? I mean, how did North sort of function? Like working class, but I mean, did they have like politicians associated with the club? Was there a good network through the club, like in relation to?
Yeah, there was, but I'm trying to think who they were. Yeah.
I mean, the Tobins.
Because it was a Labor. Yeah, the Tobins. Yeah. It was a Labor orientated club in those days, and North Melbourne and the Wharfies and that sort of thing. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of who the celebrities were that were there. I suppose was it. I think it was Jack Adams, was it? I'm trying to think of the names of the guys.
Was he? He was like a president.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
Was,
and he was a. What was he? He was a big businessman, was he at the time, or? Was he a politician?
Yeah, I'm not sure.